Hello, this is Stephanie Kimball, and I'm here again to talk to you about our 21-day Racial Justice Challenge. We are on day 7 of the challenge, which we're going to talk to you a little bit more about environmental racism, and we're also going to explore the Matthew 25 Church, which is the mission that brought us the 21-day challenge. We're on day 7, and that is to read what the youth at the 2016 triennium learned about environmental racism. And again, eco-justice means working to heal, defend, and work for the justice of all God's creation. So the youth of this conference came together to discuss issues of eco-justice and environmental racism. They talked about landfills and Native American issues, the Keystone Pipeline, the Flint water crisis, just to name a few. And at the end of the experience, it really gave hope and excitement to these youth that they could do something to help end environmental racism. So it was kind of a inspirational story to me that maybe we could do more things like this in our church, have small groups or have conversations and case studies on environmental racism, and maybe really bring more people into the church by engaging the community. It could bring more families and more youth into our church. So that's what I got out of the day 7 challenge. And then I wanted to go back and kind of talk about the Matthew 25 mission of the Presbyterian Church that really brought about the 21-day Racial Justice Challenge. And that mission calls us to actively engage in the world around us, to serve the hungry, the oppressed, the imprisoned, and the poor. So this has 3 major goals this year, and one of them is eradicating structural racism. So that's what we're looking at with our Racial Justice Challenge. It comes from Matthew 25, 31 through 46, and this has sound biblical and theological basis for the mission. It's the parable of the sheep and the goats, and what we do to the least of these matters to God. So when we feed a hungry person or clothe a hungry person, or if we stand up for an oppressed person, we are really standing up for God and for Jesus. And that person is actually, if you look at it, that is Jesus you're standing up for. That's kind of the background of the Matthew 25 church, and it's calling us to be active, put feet to our faith, and find ways to go out in the world to help end structural racism. I was reading a quote by Bishop Marion Boudet of the Episcopal Church. She said, "No Christian is called to stay silent when people are suffering." And Black people really are suffering. They have for a long time, but with everything that's going on in the world, you can really see where they're suffering, and they still are suffering a great deal. And one thing we can also do, and it gets a little uncomfortable, but if we could look at the church and our failure to love our Black neighbor in our neighboring communities, all around Michigan, all around the world, where have we failed to love our Black neighbor? And especially in environmental racism and eco-justice, where are those things that we could do more, or we could get out there? And it doesn't have to be protesting or, anything out, speaking up, writing letters, anything like that. Protesting, you could do that too. Any of that, just to help us stand up for God's creation and defend it. So that's it, really, what I have for today. I am taking Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. I'll be back on Monday to discuss the next topic, which we're going to look back at the Facing Racism Study Guide. So we will see you later, and have a great weekend.